This video is all about the utility screen on the Criterion NDT ST-11 and ST-11R units. On the utility screen, there are submenus over here on the right side. I'll get to those in just a little bit. Let's start with General first. Audio levels, pretty self-explanatory. You set the level between off and 100%, and you can test them like so. As of right now, the ST-11s offer 3 different language choices: English, Chinese, and Spanish. Setting the date and time is pretty easy. It uses a standard Windows interface. For touchscreen users, you might find it handy to plug in a mouse for this one, because these controls end up being pretty small sometimes. The lock screen timer is adjustable between off and 60 minutes, in increments of 1 minute at a time. If I set this to 1 minute and wait 1 minute, you can see what happens to this lock button down here in the corner. As you can see, the little lock icon changed. This was due to inactivity for 1 minute worth of time. At this point, anywhere on the screen I click, with 2 exceptions, the camera button and the lock button itself, they're all disabled. Everything kind of draws your attention back to the lock. If you press and hold this for 2 seconds, it unlocks the screen. This lock button is also used with limited access, which we're about to get into right now. With the current access mode set to full access, you have just that, full access to the entire instrument. You can do anything you want to, but when you click on this, you set it to limited access. Doing so allows you to have control over what features are accessible from different screens. The top box here is just test review stuff. The bottom box allows you to select or deselect the ability to get to other screens. In this mode right here, where there is no checkboxes checked, this is as locked down as the unit can be. You can also select how the grayed out or how the disabled controls look, either grayed out or hidden. If I go from here to main menu, I can see that I can only get to test review now. This is the kind of thing you might want to do during production testing to prevent your operators from pushing any buttons or doing anything that you don't want them to do. In this case, in order to get pretty much anywhere, you have to hit set access to full and hold it for 2 seconds. Then you have to type in a PIN number. In this case, the default PIN is 123. And that gets you back to full access. Now you can go back to utilities and back to access control to make further adjustments. Since I just entered the PIN, I am in full access and have the ability to adjust things. I can change the PIN from this screen. The Remote Control tab allows you to make adjustments to the settings related to the Ethernet connection for remote control for this software. In other words, if you have another PC or PLC controlling this software remotely into either the ST-11 or the PC that's running the software, then this is where you would get to the IP addresses to set that connection up. The Launch Network Adapter Setup tool launches this tool, which is also provided by Criterion NDT, to allow just easier access to your IP addresses for your network adapters. In regards to remote control through Ethernet, starting on page 25 of the user manual discusses everything you'd want to know about this setup. There's all the IP addresses, the port numbers, the types of communication, the responses, the list of commands that you can send to the ST-11. There's a little more there, and everything that you would get back from the ST-11. It talks about the type of data that you'll get back, the structure. Additionally, there are the remote control apps. So this one is the one I showed just a little bit ago, the Network Adapter Setup tool. And this one is the Remote Controller Simulator. I think there's a better picture of that a few more pages from here. There's another Network Adapter Setup tool. And yeah, there's the Remote Controller Simulator. This just allows you to simulate a remote controller. So you can kind of play with the remote control features and see how they work. The buttons on the screen are simply sending the commands that were listed up a little higher in the manual right here. These commands are just tied to those buttons, so it just makes it a little easier user interface for setting things up to begin with. The I/O test screen allows you to test all your inputs and outputs. These are all outputs that you can set to on or off. And these are all the inputs. Now I have a little switch box over here that I can push some buttons on, and I can cycle through all of these things one at a time. You can probably hear the audio from the config switch. And there's the I/O lock. The aptly named Other tab has other settings, which are off by default. These are settings that you may not find very useful most of the time, but they do provide some more information if you're the curious type. I won't go into what these really mean in this video, but there's a full description in the manual if you're interested. And lastly, the clean screen button is for touchscreen users. Click on that button, you're forced to wait 15 seconds until the screen unlocks and you can do something with it. In this case, it's an outro to this video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.